if the road's closed, don't drive through someone's yard. That's just so stupid. All right, I've got Scott with the Wayne County Engineers, who were the original folks that posted on Facebook about this mess that we're in. He's here with us to talk about just road safety, how to appropriately manage this situation.
Yeah, we from time to time, we have to close roads for the public safety. We have power lines that go down, we have trees go down. Well, we have to close those roads, and we just ask for appreciation for those who are inconvenienced to turn around instead of doing this. Going through someone's yard is not the alternative. Going on private property at all is not an alternative. So we just, during these storms that we've been having, we just hope and appreciate people's patience and understanding that there's time to time that you'll be inconvenienced and have to turn around and go a different way.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes of your time might save 10 hours of someone else's time fixing this. So
For sure.
We appreciate the work you guys do. First of all, keep the power on, keep everything going utility-wise. And it's pretty simple, guys. Just play by the rules, don't destroy things that aren't yours.
Well, we appreciate you, Ventrac, that's for sure, for coming out and fixing this gentleman's yard. I think it should be said this gentleman also actually helped to take the person that got stuck in the yard. He actually helped pull him out, so
I must say,
very kind.
He was, yeah, probably a lot more calm than I would have been. I'd like to think I would be that calm, but he actually pulled them out, and kudos to him. So everybody was playing nice, but we're here to fix it now. So perfect. Well, thanks for the work you guys do, keeping the utilities running, and dealing with stuff like this occasionally. We're gonna get to work, and we're gonna fix this as fast as we can.
Very good, thank you, Ventrac. Yep.
I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and we are on site today to fix the poor decisions of some local motorists. We are in the yard of an unfortunate fellow who just had some recent utility work done on the road near his house, and a bunch of people decided to drive through his yard instead of heed the warnings of the road closed signs. And what that results in are ruts that are the better part of a foot deep in his yard. So a couple people got stuck in here and literally had to be pulled out. There's a few different conditions that we're dealing with. Let's look at what we're working with today. So you can see over here, this is where they first came off the road, and they made a big loop back out to the other side. So this side isn't that bad, and I think the yard is just a lot drier over here. It's a little bit different of a slope, but the ruts are not that deep, maybe about 1.5 inches, 2 inches at the worst over on this top side. But they really didn't break the surface of the grass here, so we don't want to destroy this any more than we have to. We're going to take a little bit different approach on this side. We're probably going to use exclusively the aerator, and that's going to work that ground up a little bit, and then we have the roller on the back to help seal it back off and close it up. That'll get this side back in shape so that it's mowable and nice and smooth, no problems. But then as soon as you get over to the other side, that's where we have a huge issue. These ruts are absolutely massive. This one right here is the worst. It's actually down to the tree roots. I can see there's a root right here from a tree 20 feet away because we're about a foot down. And you can't just bring in dirt. The easiest thing to do would probably be to just spread dirt, throw seed on it, and call it a day. But if you did that, then all these ruts would still be underneath, and you'd still have those imperfections. As the ground transitioned from season to season, you'd probably see those ridges come back, and maybe even worse than before as it heaves and freeze thaw happens. So we're gonna tear this all the way up and put it back to level. We're gonna lose all the grass in the process, unfortunately, but we've got seed, and we'll do some seeding here at the end to get it back in order. But basically, this is a lot like fixing potholes on your driveway. You gotta get underneath these ruts and get them back out of there so that you can spread it back around, smooth it out, and get it good to go. But we brought a whole bunch of equipment. We'll just throw as much at it as we can. Our goal here is to help this homeowner out. He's in a bit of a pickle, wants to get this thing fixed fast. And so we're gonna try and get this thing done here in just a couple of hours. So, no more talking, let's get right to work. So the first process was relatively simple. Aerator in that side of the yard where the ruts were really shallow works great. Now we're gonna switch to the power rake over here. It is a lot wetter than I thought. So we may have a little bit of difficulty, but that's why we're gonna use the power rake first, because we wanna get that soil torn up and exposed to the air. So that's the first thing we wanna do, is just get that dirt churned up so that we can actually work with it. So what you'll notice is I'm starting to pick up a lot of dirt on the front caster wheels of the power rake. It's packing up here. It's packing into the tires. It's a little bit wetter than I like to see. So what we'd have to do if we stuck to the power rake only is just keep working this all day long, basically. And we would eventually get enough dirt worked up that it would start to dry out. But what I want to try and do now is switch to the soil cultivator, because that's going to get a lot deeper and it's going to break that soil apart a little bit easier. Even though this stuff is really, really wet, we have very clay-based soil in Ohio, so there's not a lot of sand or sediment in there to help it break apart. But the tines on the cultivator, I'm hoping, will help pull that apart, and you can still see the waves in the yard from the ruts. I have to get underneath of those. So we're gonna switch to that for a second, see how that works out, and hopefully that helps us pull that stuff to the top and get it drier so that we can keep power raking after. Okay, so we're basically done with the leveling part of this. We use the cultivator and the power rake, but mostly the power rake. The cultivator is not quite the right tool for the job today because of how much moisture there is in the soil still. And we're in the shade, we're gonna be in the shade most of the day, so it's not really gonna dry out. This is mostly clay, and it gets to be in these little like packed balls. So really the only thing you can do is just keep working it. And hopefully if you work it long enough, you'll break those things apart and you'll be able to smooth everything out, and then put seed on and we'll be done for the day. We are wrapped up for this project. We are done, seeded, ready to go. We used every tool that we brought to a little bit of an extent, but for the most part, we did power rake and the direct seeder. And this is a difficult spot. The ground is still very, very soft. Just walking on it alone, I can feel it squirming underneath of me. So what it really does is it highlights the capabilities of our tractor and the fact that it's powerful, but yet light on the terrain. An even better setup for situations like this would be to have dual wheels on the machine. It would just allow the machine to float better overall. But you can see this is the type of place where a skid loader, a regular compact tractor, pretty much any standard equipment would be completely buried, and every bit of work that you did would create ruts that you'd have to fix on the way out. So you just wouldn't be able to do this job yet. And that's the difficulty with these types of jobs. They only happen, it seems like, when the conditions are so bad to cause them in the first place, and you have to get them fixed before summer starts, because if you get to all the way to summer and it gets too hot and dry, then you're not going to get seed to germinate. So very difficult conditions, but we're able to work through it with the Ventrac. That's probably the nicest thing about the equipment is you have a few different tools, you have a versatility of the machine itself, and all of those things combined lets you have a lot of flexibility on any property that you're working on. So we are done today. We're going to wrap it up, load the equipment and roll. And a final PSA, don't drive through people's yards, people. Thanks.